A few days ago, Game Informer interviewed the Resident Evil 4 Remake art director Hirofumi Nakawaka to learn how Capcom was designing new and old enemies in the upcoming remake and how they designed and created the new enemy known as the Brute, or aka the Cow or Bullhead Man. Plus, I'm going to be going through two other scrapped concept art enemies from the original RE4 that will be making an appearance in the remake, since one was shown in gameplay and the other one was shown in the second trailer. But before we do that, if you're a fan of Resident Evil or just RE4, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for future Resident Evil content in the near future. Well, I just said future twice, but fuck it, who cares? And now, let's get into the topic. Also, I'm going to be breaking down what he said in the interview about Dr. Salvador as well, or the Chainsaw Villager. So for Dr. Salvador, they really thought about how he was going to look, trying a lot of different things through the design process, like making him muscular and super tall. Clearly that was a point of emphasis because in the gameplay trailer, he easily stands out compared to the other Ganados, and his height seems to be a lot more obvious compared to other male Ganados as well, while also having a thicker upper body in terms of muscle. They tried other things like putting a coat on him, but it didn't feel right, so they went back to the original and mentioned how there is a horror aspect to him, not just because of a chainsaw, but just because he looks like a normal guy. Sometimes normality can be scary as hell, and if he was this non-human big-ass guy like Pedro in Revelations 2, he wouldn't be as scary as how they wanted him to be in the remake, and they are doing a very good job of that so far, which is something he mentioned that the original needed to be preserved for the remake. But one thing he did mention he wanted to touch on was his eyes standing out and shown while wearing the cowl, because if you compare both designs, I mean, this remake version is a lot scarier, and the original was basically a normal villager that was already in the game and had copies with just a potato sack or cowl and a chainsaw. So now moving on to the Brute or Cow Mask Man, was that they put him into the game because, well, they just felt like it. The Game Informer guys, they were doing commentary on the gameplay, did state that there is more than one, and this is not a stalker enemy, or there is not just one. It's pretty much just a normal villager, but with muscles and a mask over his head. Not as terrifying as the Chainsaw Villager, but you get it. And he was created later on in development, so he wasn't originally planned. The game was pretty much completed when he was added in, and when they were playtesting, they felt like a new enemy would be nice to have, and so came along the Brute. When he is fighting you, the head nor eyes even look at you at all, so you kinda have to read his torso to know where he wants to attack, and this concept art might be a version of them they wanted to have in the original game but never made the cut. So if he is new or they wanted to go back to that art and say, what about this guy, he could be a good character, I think that's a good thing. Adding new stuff while keeping the original stuff in the game is something you love to see in any sort of remake, and hopefully this does get that RE1 Remake treatment, and from how it's looking and what we've seen now, it seems like it, but we'll see how the rest of the game turns out when it releases and when we play the game. So now that we talked about the Brute, I want to shift my focus towards the first Ganado. In the reveal trailer, we saw him being a completely normal person, but when Leon initially entered the house in the gameplay reveal, we didn't see him at all until he was like this.
No fucking way.
So this version of a normal Ganado was concept art for RE4 Original, it just didn't make the game. The concept art here, known as the Parasite Man, where the Plaga starts to be in its mid-evolution and snaps the neck of its host and the tentacles start showing. He seems to be powerful as well, since Leon shot it twice and it was not affected at all, so for our first Ganado encounter we might be in a tree for some really good horror. I have no idea if more than one will show up, but we'll see what happens, so this could be a chance for a small tiny boss fight, so we'll see. Next up, this enemy was shown for like 2 or 3 seconds. It's this BOW besides Sadler. Many people have been speculating that this is either a female Zealot or a Jester enemy that was in concept art, and I see what people are saying. The female Zealot had a very similar design to what we see in the remake, but holding this staff seems to be interesting as well. We can only speculate so much to the point where we need to see more or hear more of to really figure out who this new enemy is. That's pretty much it for enemies. There may be more new ones outside of these 3 possibly. Not confirmed, but we'll see what happens. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, and sub to the channel for more RE content like this. I hope you guys have yourselves a good day, good night, and a good sleep, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace out, and much love.